Hey guys, Dave with Moneyology here. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. Today's October 13th, 2019, and this is the public precious metals review. We'll take a look at the general ETFs in the gold, silver, platinum, precious metals sector and see where we can find some opportunities as these various different assets correct. Let's see where there might be some support. All right, so starting with gold here, gold daily chart, and yeah, we're in a short-term correction, and notice we've got some well-defined trend lines here, and the next level of support is this 38 level right now, and so will there be some more downside? I would say so. I think that we can go as low as 1440 here on the daily chart before any real support on the daily is found. Perhaps 1465 is another area. But bottom line is this is still very much bullish territory. I know it's hard to see that, but one thing I will point out and why I believe this correction is nearing its end is notice the PPO as it's curling higher and then it goes lower and then it goes higher and then goes lower. Notice it creates higher highs and eventually that breaks out to the upside and we're very close. And yeah, there might be a couple percentage points down, but if you own strong names, they're not getting whacked right now. I mean, they might be dropping a couple percentage points, but that's not terrible when you're looking at it from this perspective. This is gold from the weekly perspective. That's not a bearish chart whatsoever. I mean, when we broke out above that 1370 level, it was sayonara for the bears. You broke out here, symmetrical triangle, broke out here, hit a high of 1566 in just a couple of weeks, guys. Now it's pulling back in this kind of bullish wedge here, and who knows how long this goes? Perhaps it goes all the way towards that 1440 area. Perhaps it breaks out beforehand. Notice this trend line from that's been created by RSI. 61 happens to be the Fibonacci retracement that I follow. It also happens to be the boundary of this trend line. So this is going to be very strong support when it hits it. And it could hit it real soon. I think this week we might have a bounce back. Then we might go like this and then eventually break out to the upside. But use these opportunities to find or pullbacks to find opportunities. And we'll cover those in a premium review later on today or perhaps later on this week. But notice PPO is in the negative territory, and it might be a couple of weeks before this can rally back into positive territory. So again, it's about keeping the proper perspective. If you're a long-term investor, these pullbacks are opportunities, not areas to panic. Here's the Gold Bucks Index HUI. This one might pull back towards that 50 level. It looks like it's breaking down right now, still showing some weakness. So I think a move back towards that 200 level of it. The 13 week EMA is 208. The 26 EMA is 198. So I think around that 200 area, perhaps just below that, is going to be some very solid support there. And I think those levels likely hold. Notice it's been 1, 2, 3 weeks already in negative territory. So this one is closer to a bottom than the actual metal itself. So look for the miners to break out before the metal actually bottoms. Okay, here's another index, the GDM. And again, does this look bearish to you guys? I mean, this is a breakout from a multi-year downtrend, back tested over here, bullish wedge, broke out. Now it's creating another kind of bullish wedge or bull flag here. Look for the 50 RSI level to serve as support, but there's plenty of reasons to be confident these levels hold. Here are a couple of shorter term charts we'll cover. Here's the GLD 2 hour. So this tracks obviously the gold index. And notice, even though we're not at a double bottom point, there is some positive divergence right now. Momentum is not as weak today as it was in its first attempt to break lower here. So that's a first positive sign that I'm seeing in terms of the metal itself. Perhaps this is a back test of the initial breakout. So who knows? I mean, maybe we'll have another dip lower like this and then break higher. But yeah, this is a good sign. Here's the gold juniors 2 hour chart, and again, not yet not yet at the 36 level to say that this is a double bottom, but momentum is stronger today than it was back in end of September. So that's a positive sign. Again, kind of draw this trend line here. Perhaps this is a back test. Perhaps this is a bullish wedge breakout. We'll see. Not, the shorter you go, the less reliable technical charts are, and so this can break lower. But at the same time, I think that there's some positive momentum here, positive divergences that are being created that are worthy of taking note of. Here's the gold juniors daily chart. And again, we're just a couple percentage points, 10 to 15 percentage points from the highs. I mean, when we've rallied close to 50 to 60% so far this year, a 10 to 15% pullback is not a terrible thing. Now, also notice a lot of times you had opportunities to trim your positions as momentum was decelerating, right? Notice as we were making new highs, momentum was going lower and lower and lower. If you have a short-term perspective and taxes don't matter to you, and you're in a tax-free account, for example, you could have used these opportunities, and many folks did, to trim their positions. Okay, so now we're pulling back, and the question is, when do we break out of this downtrend? I think this 36 level is going to continue to serve as very strong support. In case of a renewed breakdown, I think this 200 EMA on the daily around 35 is going to serve as support. But there are a lot of reasons to suggest that this area right here, including bullish divergence, this area is likely to hold as support. Notice PPO is already in the positive, and that's something to take note of as well. Here's the junior gold miners weekly chart. This is this right here, right here. So this is a very small pullback in the grand scheme of things. We're at the 50 RSI level, likely serves as support. So, and again, we've been a couple weeks to the downside, and I would expect this to start curling back higher relatively soon. Would not be surprised at all to see 50 hit this year. Silver 2-hour chart. So silver looks a little bit weaker than gold right now, but it's still positive divergence. Momentum is not as weak right now as it was back in end of September. This is what often happens. You have to have a double bottom before you can really break out higher, and the double bottom obviously has to hold. But I think we're close to it. Here are the juniors, the silver juniors. This 38 level has to serve as support, unless if it doesn't, then I think we're headed lower to test that $9 boundary here. 200 EMA right now is at 930, so we're close to that. We've got this area at 930 is support, and again, notice PPO higher highs. So I think that we're very close to the bottom, and if we go just a little bit lower, I think the risk reward right now is to the upside rather than to the downside. Right here, the risk reward was to the downside because of this deceleration in momentum that was being created. Okay, Silver Juniors Weekly. This is one area of concern right now. I closed the week right below the 50 RSI level. If that breaches, then I think we can move all the way lower towards that $8 zone and still be well within a bullish trading pattern. Now, this might break lower and then move back higher. Time will tell. But right now we're hovering around that 26-week EMA support around 940. So even if it breaks lower, I expect that there's going to be a lot of buyers coming in at this juncture to push this higher. This is just the first week in negative territory, so we might take a couple weeks to consolidate and build a base around this region. All right, so platinum daily chart. So platinum is the one chart that I pointed out. This is where I want to be longer term in the PM. Obviously, gold and silver go without saying, but platinum presents a great opportunity. Notice even as the markets have been pulling back, the precious metals markets, platinum is slowly building positive momentum, and eventually this breaks above 920 and likely makes a retest of the 1000 area, perhaps breaking it to the upside. Unfortunately, there aren't too many platinum names that one can invest in, but we've covered them in previous videos and we'll continue to do so, and there will be opportunities there. Platinum weekly chart, that's what I'm talking about. Beautiful back test of this breakout zone. Back test of the 50 RSI level is very positive, and I expect PPO to kind of curl like this and move to the upside. I think platinum will break above 1000 before the year ends. Let's see what happens. Here's the platinum weekly. Oh, we just covered that. Sorry, guys. All right, some couple ratio charts. Gold and silver. You want to see this ratio break down, and it has broken down. Now it's kind of back testing the 50 RSI from the upside. I think that this is going to fail and likely head lower, and that would be a very, very positive sign for precious metals. Gold, the gold miners versus GLD. And so obviously we've had some negative underperformance of the miners against the metal, which happens in pullbacks. You want to see this ratio start firming here, right around that 0.19 level, and finding support around the 50 RSI. Might break lower, but I think that we're very, very close to the bottom of this ratio. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks right now in negative territory. I think it's going to start moving to the upside very, very soon. Here's the juniors against the gold. Similar bullish flag here, right? So even though we're below the 50 RSI, we're very close to this downtrend right now, and we're kind of, you can kind of draw this uptrend. So we're close to both, and I think that there's going to be some positive resolution sooner rather than later. I think at most we've got another 1 to 2 weeks of pullback in the metals. Here's the daily chart. So this was the weekly chart. Here's the daily chart of the GDXJ versus GLD. And again, we tried to make a run at that 50 RSI, couldn't quite make it. So perhaps a move lower towards that 38 level is possible. But again, this is a bullish flag. And eventually this bullish flag will likely break to the upside. So PPO is above 0. That says that momentum is starting to turn back in the positive direction. Silver juniors, similar type thing, but we're very close to the bottom of this boundary. We kind of broke below on RSI. So unless you see a recovery very soon, I think silver miners are acting a little weak right now, and that's not a good sign. Silver, so this is the SLV versus GLD weekly, kind of similar chart, except you expect this to break to the upside in a precious metals bull, and we're very close to this long-term breakout here, this trend line. And notice we already broke in momentum. That's the most important thing. We broke out, tested the 61 level, back tested the 50 RSI level, and soon this is going to break to the upside, guys. I have no doubt in my mind that this is a bullish pattern and will resolve itself to the upside. Here's a similar chart, silver versus gold. Notice again, you've got the 13 and 26 week moving averages breaking to the upside. The 13 is above the 26. We back tested the 50 RSI level, and this is ready to move higher. It might take a couple weeks, but it's almost there. And finally, here's silver. This is silver monthly, just to give you a longer term perspective. The silver is on its way towards 22. It's on its way to 50. Frankly, it's just a question of when. But the bullish move has begun, and use every opportunity on weakness to accumulate, guys. You're not going to see opportunities like this often, but this is very, very clearly defined uptrend. So this right here, this is the silver daily. This is just this little pullback here. I mean, we're talking a blip on the long-term radar, and eventually I think this breaks to the upside. And notice it's already broken in terms of these downtrends. It's already broken in terms of momentum. Now it's just trying to break back above the 50 RSI level. Likely happens relatively soon. Notice PPO has been moving to the upside despite some of this near-term volatility. Here's silver on the weekly, back testing that 61 level, bullish flag right now. I think at the lowest point, 1675, we're not going to go much lower than that. And I think we'll see 22 before a year is over. Here's the 2-hour chart. Again, positive divergence is being created, something to take note of. And that's it, guys. Quick video, but I wanted to give you a kind of general sense of what I'm seeing in the PM space. And stay tuned for a premium video that's going to cover the various stocks in the sector that have good setups that should do really well as silver and gold rebound from this correction. All right, guys, have a great week.